Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is going to be a DVD review of Ring of Honor Civil Warfare. This show took place the day right before Supercard of Honor 5 in Manassas, Virginia. And overall, I would say this show was okay for what it was. You know, it's kind of a house show. Usually, you know, whenever they run a show right before a really, really big show, the show usually suffers because guys are conserving energy. They're holding back so they don't get injured. You know, in the past, Eddie Edwards actually got injured right before Glory of Honor at the Boston show. So, you know, in my opinion, I think Ring of Honor needs to, you know, have their bigger shows as standalone shows without having any, you know, shows right before those big shows. That's just my opinion. I just think it'll work a lot better, and you know, the shows would even be that much better. You know, because guys could get rest and they could, you know, just conserve their energy just for that show. So that's just my opinion. But overall, this show is okay. You know, it's better than a lot of WWE and TNA pay-per-views. I'll say that. You know, you can find some enjoyment out of it. There's nothing bad on the show, but there's just nothing amazing. So let's break it down. We had the Eddie Edwards versus Bobby Dempsey, the 10-minute hunt. This is good. I like the fact that Eddie Edwards is, you know, he's getting some time on the mic. He's showing that he's more of a badass. I think he needs to develop more of a harder edge. So I think this is perfect for him. You know, I really think Davey Richards kind of overshadows him as far as his intensity and his ruthlessness. So I think this is a great opportunity for, you know, Edwards to develop some personality and some, you know, just so he can develop a harder edge, so people take him a little bit more seriously. And yeah, so next up we actually had a series of Briscoe's singles matches with the Kings of Wrestling. First up we got Jay Briscoe and Claudio Castagnoli. This was okay. You know, this didn't go too long. You know, I think Jay kind of rolled Claudio up to get the win, and it just didn't go too long. All their matches, I think they had a match at Boiling Point, and that match was extremely short as well. So, but you know, I think these two guys could do a lot in the ring together. It's just a shame that they didn't get a chance to show what they could do here. This is really, really short. So the next match is a little bit better. It was Mark Briscoe versus Chris Hero. Pretty good intensity, a lot of hard strikes, a lot of a very, very stiff match. However, you know, Hero, I think Shane Hagedorn threw something at Hero. Hero put something in his elbow pad and, you know, kind of knocked Briscoe out. So, you know, this kind of set up the a rematch of Death Before Dishonor 8. You know, this kind of foreshadowed, you know, the Briscoes interfering in their match the next night at Supercard of Honor 5. So that's pretty much what it was. This is probably the biggest storyline advancement type of thing on the show, you know, between the Briscoes and the Kings of Wrestling. All right, next up we had Roderick versus Erick Stevens. I expected a lot out of this. You know, these two guys have had great matches in FIP and even in ROH in 2008. They had some really, really hardcore, you know, really brutal, stiff matches. But you know, this couldn't have been that good. You know, I wasn't expecting much actually because, you know, Roderick is in the main event of Supercard of Honor 5 the next night, so I wasn't expecting anything, you know, bloody or drastically over the top. So, but this is okay for what it was. You know, Roderick and Stevens. I believe Stevens was actually trained by Roderick Strong, so you know they have a lot of chemistry, but not really much to talk about here. Next up, we had Kenny King versus Colt Cabana. It was okay for what it was. You know, the crowd was really into this. Manassas, Virginia is really into snapmares, so they were going crazy whenever Cabana did the snapmare. And Kenny King, there was some good interaction with the crowd. So a lot of good crowd interaction on this in this match, but Kevin Steen got involved, and it kind of ended in a disqualification. So we get right into Kevin Steen and Christopher Daniels, which was, in my opinion, was the match of the night, but still not amazing. Like 3.5 stars. A pretty slow, methodical match with you know, Kevin Steen working over Christopher Daniels' arm. You know, the highlight of the show for me, and I think a lot of people would agree with this. Basically, HonorHammer 26 was in the front row. He goes up to Kevin Steen. He says, "You suck," and before he could barely even finish saying "you suck," Steen just kisses him right in the face. So that had to be disgusting. I mean, I think that would suck to get kissed by Kevin Steen. So. Yeah, I mean that was an awesome moment though. That was really, really cool to see on DVD. But the actual match, it was good. You know, Daniels he got a huge ovation, and he's been putting together a nice string of matches. His match with Kevin Steen, it was good. You know, good enough to be match of the night, but just not amazing though. Next up we had Delirious and Tyler Black teaming up to take on Austin Aries and Rhett Titus. This is kind of an unattractive main event. I mean, I really think you could have came up with something better than this as your official main event. You know, Ring of Honor's not releasing too many DVDs now, so I mean, I think this was a risky thing to do, but it was a nice house show main event. It had a lot of nice action in it. Aries and Tyler Black, the exchanges between them were pretty good. Delirious was put over here huge, and you know, it seems like they're really pushing Delirious. They push him on and off. Usually they end up dropping the ball with it, but we'll see what happens here. A pretty good main event. Nothing bad, but I don't know. I just think this show. I just really wish they would stop running shows before, the huge New York City shows. I just think maybe you could combine the Manassas dates with maybe St. Louis or Kentucky or maybe even Chicago or Dayton or something like that. So, yeah. So I want to talk about Ring of Honor on HDNet Volume 2. The ROH on HDNet shows, I've said it time and time again, it's not a good representation of what Ring of Honor is all about. You really have to experience the real DVDs to appreciate how great this company is. But one thing about HDNet that I will support them on is their main events. Their main events have been great, and this has no filler on it. Just a whole bunch of great ROH main events here. No crap. One of the other big problems with the show has been the dead crowds. So I will say that. But this is a great compilation. The first one was really good. I would say this one's probably even better. Some of the highlight matches were KENTA and Roderick strong. This was an awesome match, 4 stars, a very stiff match. I wouldn't say it was the best match that they had, but still an excellent television match. Really good stuff. Jimmy Jacobs and Delirious had a really underrated fight with an honor match. Just a crazy hardcore match there. That was good. American Wolves versus Bryan Danielson and Tyler Black. Not as good as you would expect. Nowhere near as good as their double feature 2 match, which was a contender for match of the year. This was more about setting up a Bryan Danielson Tyler Black match. They ended up arguing after the match. So that's pretty much what it was. But still, watching these two teams wrestle, you could watch them wrestle all day long. So what else was on here that was good? Bryan Danielson and Tyler Black. This match was excellent. This is probably the most underrated Ring of Honor on HDNet match, and if this match had taken place on an official DVD last year, like maybe in Chicago or during the Final Countdown tour, people would be talking about this as more of a match of the year contender. This really got overshadowed because it was on HDNet, but in my opinion, this is probably the second best Bryan Danielson Tyler Black match, right after New Horizons. I think the match they had at New Horizons in 2008 is their best match, but this would be their second best, which is saying a lot because they had six matches and they were all great. This is better than their breakout match, better than their Southern Navigation match. So yeah, I give this 4 1/4 stars. Just an excellent match, and I really think that Bryan Danielson, out of all the guys, I really felt like he went out of his way and really did a great job of making Tyler Black and taking him to that next level before he left for the WWE. So. And then the other match in here, well, Danielson and Black is actually the last match, but the other match in here that I forgot to talk about was Kevin Steen, El Generico, and KENTA taking on the American Wolves and Chris Hero. Excellent match, another underrated match, 4 1/4 stars, just tremendous action. This started off kind of slow, but then the action picked up and it was awesome. And there was also some good psychology, and KENTA's in the match, so I mean you can't go wrong there. And the American Wolves, David Richards was like a beast here. He was just on fire in this match, but. Another good compilation, definitely worth checking out. If you maybe get it for Black Friday, not something you have to go out and buy right away, but it's only $15. Get it during Black Friday, you could probably get it under $10. You get some really good matches on here. So that's HDNet Volume 2. All right, so one more look. Yes, Civil Warfare. I would say try to get this really cheap. It's worth a look. It's still a decent show, but it's just not must see. And ROH on HDNet Volume 2. Really good stuff on here. All right.